Randy Reid, editor of the Edison Report. We are here at LEDucation, and I am joined by Dr. Mariana Figueiro of the Light and Health Research Center. And Mariana, welcome, and thank you so much.
Thank you, Randy.
We're glad that you're here. And the biggest news of late is that RP46 is out from the IES, and you used to be part of that committee. I can't remember the name of it. It was a very long title, but it has to do with circadian entrainment. Have you seen the document yet?
I have requested the document after public review, and I haven't looked at it in details. As you know, I was part of the committee. And then I resigned from the committee because I just didn't think that the document was at the level that I would have liked to see it. So there was a lot of sort of bickering in the committee, and I thought that the best would be for me to get out of it and let them do what they think is best. So I'm going to be giving my public comments on the final version of it, and hopefully more people will be looking at it and also giving the public comments.
Well, very good, because it is not yet on the IES website. I talked to Pat McGillicuddy, and I think you can email Pat at IES, and then I think it's $25. And I have seen it also, and I'm reviewing it, and I hope to have a few comments as well. So enough of that. Let's talk a little bit about the LHRC, and what are some of the things that you guys have coming up?
Well, we are finally, I think, past COVID when it comes to data collection. So we're starting to see a lot of results now and continued data collection. So a lot of work, again, continue the work on seniors. We're also expanding the work for Parkinson's disease, so we're doing some studies with Parkinson's. We're going to have results soon. And obviously we're doing something with NLB, right? We're doing the Let's Talk About Light and Health, which will be a really interesting series, because I think the idea is to try to talk to people outside lighting. And then the first one we're going to have is actually with the president of Mount Sinai. So we think that it's great because now you're getting the president of such a big hospital interested in lighting. So we're very excited about that as well. We continue to do the work with UV disinfection, plants, transportation. So we continue pretty active, Randy. It's been pretty good.
We're very excited about the president of Mount Sinai. I think that is March 27th is when we have that scheduled. And let's talk a little bit. I believe the last time I saw you was upstate at your new offices and your new facility. How has all of that gone with having your staff upstate, and then you're upstate and here in the city as well?
Well, it's been a lot of train rides, I can tell you. But it's working out really well because we have a beautiful space here. One thing I learned about Manhattan, space is a premium. It's like if you can get a itty bitty tiny office, you're a happy camper. And we have 15,000 square foot upstate. We have beautiful space, a lot of daylight, a lot of sort of very nice technical stuff happening up there. So that's what I think it's nice. It's because we're able to keep the best, with all the technical and all the light measurements, all our photometric labs, everything upstate, because we weren't going to be able to do this here. It's just too expensive. And then we're doing all the clinical here. We weren't going to be able to run. Randy, we have to recruit almost 800 patients in the next 4 years. We weren't going to be able to do that upstate. We have to be here at Mount Sinai.
And you're going to get very diverse patients here as compared to upstate.
Absolutely. In fact, Mount Sinai has a huge presence in East Harlem, so you get a lot of diversity there. And I think, first of all, NIH, National Institutes of Health, NIH is interested in diversity. And again, we weren't going to get that upstate. So it was almost like my dream come true, where you have Mount Sinai as the clinical arm of the technical part upstate. So I tell you, it's going to be 3 years in October. It's hard to believe. And I think now we're settled. Now we're just ready to grow.
Can you speak a little bit about the grant process and how you're doing with obtaining some of the grants?
So obviously the best grants you can have are the NIH grants because they are multi-year grants. They're 4 or 5 years, and they're multi-million dollars. So you almost like you book yourself for the next 4 5 years, right? So you know you can count with that funding, which is great because then you can hire staff. You know you're going to keep them for continuity and so on. So, but the problem with these grants is that they take about 8 months for you to get the grant. And sometimes you don't get it the first time. You have to submit it again, so it can be over a year. So it's almost like every cycle you have to be submitting. Now, we've been very fortunate. We have, of these large grants, we have 7 of them, and we're about to get the 8th this year. So we're doing more than we can handle. I mean, we're handling it, but we can't complain. I mean, having 1 is great. Having 2 or 3 is like, wow. But having 7 going on to 8, that's a big deal.
All right. Congratulations. Tell our audience a little bit about the CS label.
All right, so this is, it's a very interesting, it's a paper that we just published. It's called So What? And it's a very clever idea. What it is it's for you to be able to compare different fixtures within the distribution categories. And you can't compare how effective they are in delivering a certain circadian dose. So you have like a standard observer, somebody sitting at a certain position, so everything is standard, and then you can compare the different fixtures to see how those fixtures deliver the CS in our case, but you can use any metric you want. At ILM, you can, we're very inclusive in that regard. When it comes to the science, we believe that CS is the best metric, but when it comes to the application, we want to see it being implemented. So you pick the one you want, and you can use that to compare different fixtures, and you select the most effective fixtures. So the interesting thing about that, it takes into account spectrum, which everybody talks about. It takes into account light levels, and it also takes into account the distribution of the fixtures. So you may have a direct-indirect fixture, but within the family of direct-indirect, it's different how they will deliver that CS at the eye. So you can get the most effective one. So I think it's a very handy tool for specifiers.
Are you seeing some success with it?
Not yet, because I think people are still learning about it. What we're planning on doing is, for example, now in April, it's actually April 11, we're going to have a webinar. Mark and I are going to give a webinar to explain it. So we'll give it to you so you can post it and so on. So we're starting now on the education part so that people can understand. And I think eventually we will develop tools like we have the CS calculator, which is a tool. I think we're going to develop similar tools to make it easier for the specifiers.
And the CS calculator, of course, is free to anybody that wants it, which I think is great, and I assume the other tools will be as well. Okay, well, I want to wrap up here, but is there anything I haven't asked you that I should ask? No, I think everything. You always cover everything. So we'll keep you informed. All right.
All right, thank you, Reid.
Please do. It's a pleasure. Thank you so much.